wrestling fans, thanks for clicking on the Dreaded D Rose report again. There appears to be no movement within TNA these days to bring in Paul Heyman. I don't know, however, they continue to send out feelers to Jim Ross, though. Heyman would be a lot more plus than Ross would, I believe. But Eric Bischoff posted the following cryptic message on his Facebook earlier. Is Bischoff thinking about hanging it up with TNA, or is this one of those Matt Hardy-like messages? Anyway, what he wrote on his Twitter, see what you can read into this. He says, sometimes you gotta know when to say when. And then it says, getting close. And a period in there. When to say when. You gotta know when to say when, getting close. So you know, well, anyway, just let me know what you think he's saying. Michael Cole said on Raw that he's going to be calling out Daniel Bryan, which I haven't seen last night's NXT yet, for a public apology. And Cole says if Bryan doesn't apologize, he's going to sue him and then just beat up his hands with his face. Anyway, we're going around WWE. The reason for CM Punk losing last night, and Sunday night, and getting his head shaved because Rey Mysterio is expected to take a little bit of time off following the taping of SmackDown tonight. And it's yet unknown if Rey's going to be taking time off to get his knee surgery done, or just to spend a little time with the family, get to know them. The woman who attacked Natalya on last Monday's Raw was Serona Snuka, daughter of course, Jimmy. And Serona is known in the developmental area as Tamina. Anyway, I don't know if she's going to change her name. But anyway, the male wrestlers were Jimmy and Jules Uzo, which is the son of former star Rikishi. In case they kind of looked alike, that's what it is. Anyway, Uzo brothers and Tamaya, whatever you want to call her, laid out the Hart Dynasty with the top rope splashes like Snuka always did. Anyway, the three has worked in Florida Championship Wrestling with as Gorilla in the Samoan stable. They've been working there for some time now. Got big reviews, I guess, and doing pretty good. And I think they're getting brought up to the Raw roster real quick because they wanted to get a feud going between the Colognes and the Hart Dynasty, but the Colognes, one of them, is gone. Anyway, it's confirmed that Undertaker is going to be at SmackDown this Friday on the broadcast to be taped, of course, tonight. Yoshitatsu versus Primo and Zack Ryder versus Evan Bourne was taped before Raw, I guess, for this Thursday night's WGN Superstars. Another WWE NXT rookie will be eliminated last night, which I still haven't seen it yet, so let me know. R-Truth is the new WWE Champion after defeating The Miz in a match on Raw. The match was made after Bret Hart was named new general manager and vacated the title, which that was a good way to get him out of that, Bret Hart. The Sci-Fi Channel has sent out a press release this morning announcing that WWE superstar Cody Rhodes will be appearing on an episode of the show Warehouse 13 in August. Rhodes is going to be playing the character Jeremy Kelly, high school love interest, I guess, of Ika Buring, which I've never seen the show, don't know. Add WWE Champion John Cena to the list of stars injured at Sunday's Over the Limits pay-per-view. Cena posted on his Twitter this morning, "Morning C Nation. Spent 3 hours at the dentist. Got a tooth knocked out at the Over the Limit paper. Mouth is numb." Which you ain't going to see that very often with Cena, having his mouth numb. He later added that the fans suggested that he do a Cena after the dentist video, referring to there was a viral video of some girl that had her Novocaine or something like that. But she was talking out of her head. Kind of funny. Only once, though. WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross updated his blog, and you can see that, of course, on the Barbecue website. Here's what he had to say about Bret Hart as general manager. He said, answer a question. I was surprised to see Bret Hart named GM simply because I know the Hitman has many interests and travels a lot. Traveling to Raw, he's not, all that crazy about it. Don't get me wrong, he says he's pleased with the selection. And he had a JBL update. He says, no, to the emailer that asked if I expected to see JBL back in the ring at some point. He says, I think the limo has driven off into the sunset and is properly funded to boot. And then he said about Batista training for MMA. He said, I heard rumblings that Batista's getting healthy and just might try his hand at MMA. So needless to say, Ross doesn't know any more than I do. And that's awful. On Monday's Raw, Edge and Randy Orton and Sheamus won the fatal four-way qualifying matches to determine who Cena's opponent's going to be. If I end up losing my voice, let me know. There. At Tuesday's SmackDown taping, The Undertaker, Big Show, CM Punk won qualifying matches to determine Jack Swagger's opponent. So the two top matches in the WWE Fatal 4-Way so far, John Cena versus Edge versus Randy Orton versus Sheamus for the WWE title, and World Heavyweight title, Jack Swagger versus Undertaker versus Big Show versus CM Punk. F4W on, well, time have I got here? About 3 minutes. F4W Online says Heath Slater was eliminated on last night's episode of WWE NXT. So that told me what happened. Hey, everything I read here, I'm only reading it for the first time. Well, that's why I don't understand a lot of things what I'm saying and reading either, because I only read it once. Anyway, the competition now comes down to Wayne Barrett, Justin Gabriel, and David Otunga. Next week's show will be the season finale. Anyway, Randy Orton told his friends about the shoulder injury from Sundays. Shouldn't have him out of action for very long. Everything indicates that Orton will be ready for the June 20th Fatal 4-Way. TNA announcer Jeremy Borash was guest on Right After Wrestling radio show last night, I guess. Spoke in depth about the TNA Impact leaving Monday nights and TNA releasing talent soon. A little bit of this, he says, moving back to Thursday nights, Borash said, I think it was definitely a different era, and it would be nice to recapture some competitive spirit among, being Monday night, but maybe that's another day. Borash also was asking about reports that letting 15 to 20 superstars go in the next few weeks in order to save money. He says, I don't know if you're looking at it as roster cuts, but you don't say anything, or we don't hear anything about when we spend more money to hire people. It's when you do the roster cuts. Well, that's true. So who are they going to cut? Never have heard yet. The current plan for WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view in July, my God, they can't get one pay-per-view out of the way until they start another one, and now they're starting even two down the road. Anyway, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view in July will have two Money in the Bank matches for two separate briefcases. One of the winners will likely cash in the title shot at SummerSlam in August. One of the former WWE personalities, Abraham Washington, who was in the running last week for new Raw General Manager until Bret Hart was reached. And Virgil is currently working on a WWE pay-per-appearance deal. Oh, yeah, about 45 seconds. A lot of people don't realize that recently NXT rookie Skip Sheffield also appeared on the same same Tough Enough 4 season as The Miz did back in 2004. Sheffield was then known as Ryan Reeves and made it to the finals. FYI, did you know that? A little bit of trivia? Well, that's about all I can give you, a little bit. Hey, I better get off here before I run out of time. Thanks for clicking. I gotta go.